Good evening, y'all. It is another episode of the Late Night Vision Show. We are right in the middle of a big series that we do every year. We're picking our favorites of the year. So if you missed the first two episodes of the series, go check it out. We did the best night vision scope of 2024 and also the best entry level thermal scope of 2024. Go check those out. They've already gotten a lot of views, and we are excited to bring you the show tonight. This is the best thermal scope under $4,000. And to help me, like he does every year, Jason Robertson, the owner of Outdoor Legacy. Let's get through this list, Jason. Let's pick a winner here pretty soon.
This is a big list.
Yeah.
I think there is about 13 on this list. We've got a couple optics here. One that's brand new, that's really not going to be included. A couple that are kind of going away. Really comes down to 10 or 11 optics. It's a stacked list.
It is.
I will say this, and I know people are like, well, y'all say that every week. The competition is thick in all these categories, but what Hans and I were kind of looking ahead, and what we've seen is there's been so many price drops that the
Yeah.
under $3,000, which is what we did last week, is entry level. The under $4,000 this week. This is where the vast majority of the optics are. When we get into the sub 5,000 and 6,000, we have to combine those because there's good scopes, but there may only be like, three or four or five in a category. So definitely good for consumers because the price is coming down and these categories show that. So real quick, what I want to do, we give our general disclaimer. We do this. It's just sad that we have to do this, but we do because we get so many comments. And basically, these are the optics that we have chosen. We've reviewed, we've tested, we've used every single optic on this list, and we pick the scopes that we believe are quality, have a good value for the dollar, and bring something to the market from manufacturers that we know and we trust and we want to do business with, and we feel that we can recommend to our customers. That's where this list comes from. We sell all of these scopes at Outdoor Legacy. If you say, well, what about my favorite brand that's not on there, or this new brand that I heard about, or this old brand that's been around forever, why are they not on here? Usually there is a reason, and that reason is that they didn't make our cut. And again, everybody's got their own opinion. You may have added some other optics in here. This is our list. And then when it comes down to actually picking our winners, this is something we run into. We have guys that will watch this show and say, wait a minute, I bought a scope from you in this category, last week or 6 weeks ago or 6 months or a year ago, and you recommended a different scope than you picked. That's because we are talking to our customers one-on-one, asking lots of questions, figuring out exactly how they're going to hunt, what they're going to need their optic for, what kind of rifle setup, what kind of weather, what kind of terrain, what they're hunting, shooting, just all kinds of things that we put this whole puzzle together, and we figure out what optic we believe will work best for them. And these optics are tools. They're not one size fits all. So just because there's one that we pick that we like the best doesn't mean it's the right optic for you. It could actually be the worst optic on the whole list for you. So don't just take our picks and say, oh, that's the one I'm going to buy. You really, really need to know that it's the right tool for the job for you. So that's the disclaimer there. Guys, this is what we do for a living, not just review optics. It is. We do review them. We do sell them, or we do hunt with them, but we also sell them. At outdoorlegacy.com, you can find all of these optics there. And as I mentioned, we do help our customers pick out the right optic for them. You can call Hans and I at 877-350-1818. We use every optic on this list, as well as every single optic that is on the website at outdoorlegacy.com. We can tell you how they compare to each other and which one will work best for you within your budget, help you get that picked out, and we would love to have your business. So, Hans, without further ado, get to reading
Yeah.
this big long list of optics, and I'm going to watch closely because
Yeah.
You know,
I have
I
a
did these
tendency to
last
not
week,
do
and
this
I did these last week, and I fumbled around a little bit. So I'm gonna let you. Do you want to read them all? Or you want to split them?
You know, I'll read them all. I just,
Okay.
when I was younger in school, they had to put me in when I was in like really small, I guess, or young elementary school grades.
11th grade.
They put me in some remedial reading classes, and it wasn't because I couldn't read. I just didn't want to. I was lazy. And that's how my laziness with reading is carried on later in
Yeah,
life. So,
exactly. Okay.
so we're
We
going to
all
fight
just
through.
learned something new about Hans today.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I can read. I just don't want to. All right,
just
so we're
don't
gonna get through this, and your mom wasn't she a reading teacher or a grammar language
she was
teacher or
an
something?
English teacher. Yeah, she
That's
was an
right.
English
Yeah,
teacher. Yeah,
yeah.
so
So
you would not
she
do
likes
well
to
in our
read.
household.
No, no. All right, we're gonna fight through this. We're gonna get through it, and we are going. Jason so nicely put this list together, and if you're watching on YouTube, go give this a thumbs up right now because it takes a lot of time and effort to put these graphics, these beautiful graphics on the screen of these scopes. So would really appreciate any type of thumbs up that we can
Yeah.
get or good comments. Good comments only.
I gotta make a quick comment. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. Forgive us for this, but Hans has taken on the other two shows we've already done this year, and he's taken a picture of the optic and put it on the screen. I mean, through this whole thing, he did this. It's been a bunch of time. It's a bunch of energy. So kudos to Hans for doing that. But literally, one of the first comments was, "You guys are so lazy. You can't even put a picture of the optics up there." And I'm
I
thinking,
know.
did you not watch it? Because
I know.
literally, there was a picture of every
single
optic. So anyway, I won't
I
say
saw
anymore.
that,
I'm
and
just going to
I
leave
felt like
that comment.
I felt like a whipped dog, like I just got kicked in the gut. Okay, so there is going to be a graphic with every mention here. Okay, starting out the list, AGM Adder TS35 640. That is a 2-power base magnification thermal optic. Price on it is $3,195. We've got followed by the 384 resolution. This is the AGM Varmint V2 TS50 384 LRF, and that's a 4.5 power base magnification for $3,195. Man, that is a long title. We got the AGM Clarion. You got V2s. I mean, it's just a lot. So you got the AGM Clarion 384. This is a 2-power and a 4.5 power. So I don't know if y'all watch that show, but it is a dual base magnification thermal optic. You can switch between 2-power and 4.5 power and still keep the 384 resolution. The price on that, $34.95. You got the brand new Infrared Outdoor Ricoh MK2 RL42R, and that's a 4-power base magnification for $34.99. We'll talk about that a little bit more because you have not heard that optic mentioned on this show before. It's brand new. We've got the Pulsar Thermion 2 XQ50 LRF. That is a 384 resolution Thermion with a built-in laser rangefinder. That is a 3-power base magnification. The price on that is $34.99. You got the AGM Adder TS50 640. That's a 2.5 power for $36.95. So that's our second 640. So the first one we talked about was $31.95. We got the Adder TS50 640 at $36.95. Next, we've got the Rix Leap L6. This is a 2.8 base magnification for $37.99. You've got the new AGM Rattler V2 TS35 640 at 30. It's a 2-power base magnification. The price on that's $39.95. The Infrared Outdoor Bolt TH50 V2 3.5 power. Price on that's $39.99. You got the Infrared Outdoor Ricoh RH50 V2 MK1 3-power, $39.99. You have, and we're going to include this on the list, but you got the discontinued Infrared Outdoor Ricoh Hybrid 640. That's 50 millimeter, 3-power base magnification, $39.99. You got the Pulsar Thermion 2 XP50 Pro, 2-power base magnification for $39.99. And the Pulsar Thermion 2 XG50 at 3-power base magnification for $39.99.
You did a great job.
I felt like I rushed through it, but I know
Well,
we got some explaining to do on some of
Yeah,
these
we
things.
do. So I wanna jump into the explaining. Hans, do this with me. We're going to go over this list one by one, but let's mark a couple off so we won't come back to them. One we're going to mark off is the brand new Infrared Outdoor Rico RL42R. Now, we're marking it off because it is brand spanking new, and we have not even had a chance to use it at the recording of this show. We're probably, by the time this comes out in a couple days, we'll have used it, but our demo unit was lost via UPS. So it was supposed to have been here last week, and we're trying to track that down, as well as a couple other optics that are in that box. There's about $12,000 worth of scopes that are in limbo somewhere. That scope.
Somebody is having fun right now.
Somebody's having fun. UPS man's hunting some hogs and coyotes. Yeah. But that optic, the reason we're not going to put it on here is because literally it is so new. We have not had the chance to use it, to test it, to really give it, the once over. But here's what I can tell you: by the time you're watching this, if you're watching this in another week, we probably would have put it on here, and I'm going to go ahead and say it probably would have won one of the top spots because we know this scope is going to be so popular with coyote hunters. The RL42, the original model, was amazing. Everybody loved it. This is an upgraded version of that, 4-power with a laser rangefinder. I can just already tell you it is going to be fantastic. We know it's going to be, but we can't, it's not fair to put it on here since we truthfully have not gotten out there and been able to test it against these other optics, and it's brand new. Another scope we're going to kind of knock off here is going to be the Infrared Outdoor Rico Hybrid 50 millimeter. Now be clear, this is not the hybrid 75 millimeter. That is a 4-power, wonderful scope. Our opinion, the best long range optic on the market. That's not this one. This is the hybrid 640 50 millimeter. This scope's going away. It's on a huge sale right now. It was I'm going to be completely blunt and honest. It was a nice scope when it came out, but it was very expensive. And iRay has killed this scope with their other optics. Okay, they've come out with so much better stuff and less expensive that it just killed this optic. This scope was originally $7,000, and it just was too expensive for what else they were coming out with. So it is on a big sale. We still don't think that it compares to these other iRay models. So we're not even going to really put it in the running. And then the last one, this is the most painful thing for me to say, but the Pulsar Thermion 2 XP50 Pro, that unit is essentially gone. It's not available to dealers anymore. There's a few still floating around out there. I think we've still got some, but it's gone. It's going away.
And that's been our favorite pick since we started this series of shows, the best of. Yeah.
It would absolutely be in the running here for either the best or at least an honorable mention. I don't know if it could. Yeah, it would at least be an honorable mention. We really do like that scope, but it is going away. So I mean, it's essentially gone. There's just a few left. I mean, Pulsar has closed it out of their official lineup, not available to dealers anymore. So we don't want to pick that because it's essentially gone. Now, all right, real quick. I'm going to try to go through. I know that wasn't quick. We talked about 3 optics. Hans, I'm going to let you jump in at any time.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk real quick. Let's kind of go through the list. AGM Adder TS35 640. It's a 2-power base mag, $3,195, $3,200. What we're going to do here, we're going to round these numbers. Okay, we're going to go to $3,200. That's easier to say. Really do like this scope. I think that it's a very good value for the dollar. A guy that's hunting hogs wants a 640, wants the low base magnification. That is a good optic in this class of basically $3,000 to right under $4,000. 30 millimeter tube scope gonna work great on a bolt gun. Also work great on an AR-15. And I think our favorite thing about the optic is that it does come with the $250 American Defense Manufacturing quick detach mount included in the box with it. So that makes that scope a really good value. Hans, anything you want to say about that before we jump
No,
on down?
very two things. Very battery life, very long battery life, very cold cold weather rating. So one of the
Yes.
coldest around. So very popular scope, I would say. The Adder series, and I think, gosh, at $3,200 for a 640 scope with all the features you talked about, really, really good deal if you are wanting something that's low base magnification, wide field of view. Very good option for you there.
Yeah, and so moving along, we've got. I know this seems weird to have 384s and 640s side by side, but what it is you've got some of the best 384s, actually probably the best 384s
Yeah.
on the market are in this category. So I understand, guys. Well, whoa, why are there 384s and 640s? Well, that's just the way the price categories are. We're at the very top end of 384, but the crazy part is we've got some of the top 640s in this class
Yeah,
too.
I
So
know.
it's really kind of crazy. But the brand new for summer fall 2024 is the AGM Varmint V2 TS50 384 laser rangefinder unit, and it is a 4.5 power base mag for $3,200. So we made a mistake last week and mentioned this optic or the wrong magnification on the TS35. Here's the deal.
No,
You're
you
getting a
didn't, because
laser
I cut
range.
that out of the show. So
Well, never mind. You
You've
didn't.
been
Hans,
reprieved.
Hans cut out my mistake. So here's the thing about that. This scope is. I'm going to do this real quick. Hans is going to hate me because it's going to take forever. But this is a good comparison. People would say, well, why would I buy that scope when I can buy the Adder 640 for 3,200, the same price? Why would anybody buy the Varmint? That's because the Varmint is intended for a totally different user, a totally different type of hunting than that Adder is. It is a 4.5 power base magnification. That is for a long range hunter, and it has a laser rangefinder built in. It also has some ballistic software built into it as well. That is for a different guy. And yes, we will absolutely recommend 384s over 640s to people when the magnification doesn't make sense. If you were hunting coyotes at longer ranges or even 100 yards, I'm not going to recommend that Adder to you, but I would definitely recommend for the same price the 384 Varmint. So again, great optic. I know some people get confused of kind of why it's in there. Hans, this next one, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I really, really, really love this optic. And this is the AGM Clarion 384. It's $3,500, but it is two scopes in one. And when a guy calls me and he says, I'm going to hunt hogs close range, or maybe I'm hunting coyotes, but I'm going to be close range in the brush, down log roads, small fields, but I'm also going to get on big fields and I need to shoot, 150, 200, 250, 300 yards. I get excited because I know exactly the scope that I want to recommend.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. You have, Hans mentioned it when he went over his list. You have two scopes in one. You have a 2-power lens. You twist about 180 degrees on this ring on the front, and it switches lenses, change it to a 4.5 power with absolutely zero image quality loss at all between them. It is not a digital zoom. Now, it does have digital zoom on both the 2-power and the 4.5 power lens, but you are getting two different scopes. This is like buying a 2-power and a 4.5 power scope and having them both in your bag. You've got them both in one optic for $3,500.
Yeah, it's for the guy that can't decide where he wants to hunt or what his ranges
right.
are. But it is, short range, long range, it does it all. No image loss on it. Battery packs, ADM mount. I mean, really, it's a really cool unit. And really, we've talked about hoping that this technology advances into more scopes and more options. And as that happens, maybe the price will come down. With the popularity of that, but it really is. I mean, it's for a specialized hunter, and that's, we know it when we hear it. When they say those, the right things, we know that we're going to recommend that Clarion model. But very, very good option for somebody who's looking for something for like that specifically. But Let's go to the Pulsar Thermion 2 XQ50 LRF. What do you think, Jason?
Okay.
3 power, $3,500 right now, 384 resolution, very popular scope for somebody that wants a built-in laser rangefinder. And I tell people all the time, if a laser rangefinder is important to you, if it's an important feature, it is nice to have it with that laser rangefinder permanently attached in the scope. It also has ballistics. They did lower the price on that, or they called it a sale, but they lowered it. It was $39.99, now $34.99. So even better deal, but probably, I would say as far as picture quality, Jason, the best 384 resolution picture quality that you can get. And with that laser rangefinder and ballistics calculation, perfect for somebody who likes a little bit more base magnification for you coyote hunters that are, really on average taking shots at 100 yards and further, but definitely popular in the coyote hunting circles for sure.
Yeah, I would say this. I believe, and this is going to be a big comment, and Hans is probably going to cringe. I do believe, as of right now, Pulsar has the best 384 image out there, but they do cost more. And I think that their 384 image performs really, really, really well in high humidity and bad conditions. This is nothing against the AGM or the infrared or the RIX images. Those are all really, really good. I do love the Pulsar image in their top 384 optics, but they do cost more. And so I think that, that kind of sets them up there. But with the laser rangefinder, and as you said, the ballistics, I think it's a great optic. Moving on, we've got the AGM Adder TS50 640. This is going to be a 2.5 power at $36.95. I tell you, everything we just said about the 35 640, this is the 50 640. It's the exact same scope, except it's a half a power higher, and it's $500 more at basically $3,700. A lot of people would say, well, I'm going to pay $500 for a half a power more, but that's kind of this when we're talking about these Pulsars in their 384s. That's kind of what that jump is about $500 for a half a power. It's a bigger lens. You're paying more for that.
It doesn't seem like a lot, but if you look at a coyote, a small animal or small target at 100 yards between the 2 power and the 2.5, you're going to see the difference in the size of that coyote. And it doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but in the field, it's quite a big of jump up there.
Yeah, I agree. Next is the RIX Leap L6. This is a 2.8 power, and it's $3,800. RIX has got some really good optics. We've reviewed this scope on the show. I think this is a 30 millimeter tube again, so it's great for bolt or ARs. I think my favorite thing about this scope is there's no internal battery. It's a fully removable, rechargeable, generic 18650 battery. And just going back from memory, I think that our bench test was showing 7.5, 8 hours of runtime on a single 18650 battery. Really, really like that. It's got a totally different menu manipulation than it doesn't have all the buttons that all the other scopes do. You basically use what looks like the turrets on all three sides, top and left and right, to get through the menus. A lot of people really like that. It takes a minute to get used to, but a lot of people really, really like it because there's less buttons and it kind of becomes intuitive once you learn what's going on. So really good scope, a great image quality. I think it's a very fair contender at $3,800. We sold a lot of these, and I'm just going to say one quick thing. I'll let you take it, Hans. I was going to say, sadly, it's getting overshadowed by some of these other price drops that have just really hammered down and put the pressure on that optic.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. So, a year ago, there were a lot of people that had never even heard of the brand RIX. Last week, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, they got an award for best entry-level thermal scopes. And you're exactly right. They would be very much in contention for the same award in this under 4,000 if it wasn't for the scopes that we're about to mention here next. But, you're right. 18650 fully removable battery. The menu system I think is pretty good after getting used to it, but I think it is kind of easy, a little bit more basic than what you will see with some other scopes, but great picture image, 640 resolution. It's right there close to 3 power, so it kind of puts it in the wheelhouse of a lot of the majority of night hunters out there. But yes, these scopes we're about to talk about right now have kind of put the damper on that a little bit. I'll talk about the Rattler, and then I'll let you get into the heavyweights. So we got the AGM Rattler V2 TS35 640. This is a 2-power for $39.95. The Rattler series we've talked about very famously in the best entry level category, or the entry level category. Very, very popular. They have those same models in 640 resolutions. With the rechargeable battery packs, you get 2 battery packs, 8 to 10 hours of runtime. With each, you get the American Defense Manufacturing mount, 5-year warranty, very small and compact. And this style of scope, the Rattler series, is really good for somebody that wants an optic that they could, for somebody out there that says, you know what, I don't hunt that much, but I want a thermal, but I want the option to put it on a rifle and hunt with it. That small compact style, you can take it off, use it as a scanner, which a lot of people do. You can put it on the rifle and also use it as a dedicated thermal weapon sight. 2-power base magnification is great for scanning. Great for somebody whose average shooting is going to be under 150 yards, under 100 yards, because it's a wide field of view. But kind of just I want to say a do-it-all thermal. Whether you just want something for protection, home security, property security, and something to hunt with. So very popular, the Rattler V2s.
Yep. So listen, we're running short on time. We got a lot to go. So I don't want, now we get to the top end of this list, and I don't want to short these scopes, but I may short them just a little bit. Infrared Outdoor Bolt TH50C version 2, 3.5 power, on sale $39.99, right at $4,000. Guys, this is a fantastic scope. This scope was probably our number one selling 640 coyote hunting optic of 2023 last year. End of the year, this thing sold like crazy. The first part of 2024. We're still in coyote season, and it was $5,500. Today, this scope is $1,500 less at $39.99. I don't have to tell you that it is one of our best sellers right now. It is truthfully one of the best 640 image qualities that you're going to get on the market today, period. It is in the absolute top image quality that you can get in a 640, and it's $4,000.
Yeah.
It's insanity. I mean, this is a coyote hunter's dream. It is a fantastic optic. The 3.5 power is more than I need as mostly a hog hunter, but it's such a beautiful scope. The image is so good. I love so many things about it. I want to talk more about it, but I'm going to hold off. I want to go on. I want to talk next about the Infrared Outdoor Rico RH50 V2 MK1. This is a 3-power, and it too is $39.99. That scope is brand new this year. I cannot believe that it's on sale for $39.99. But when they moved the TH50, they kind of had to do this. This scope, we reviewed this, and we called this the most underrated scope of 2024. And I still believe that. This scope does not get the appreciation it deserves because it is the middle child. The RH50R, which we'll be talking about in another episode, was new this year, has a laser rangefinder. It's the big brother to this scope, so that overshadowed it. And then when this TH50C dropped down to $39.99, it's just caught in the middle. It is the same thermal sensor, essentially the same image quality as the RH50R and this TH50C. The only difference is it doesn't have that super big display screen that those other two optics do. It's still a normal size display. It's still fantastic. If you don't want a 30 millimeter tube scope, this is the scope I would choose. It is an unbelievable deal at $39.99, and I think it is still underappreciated. I think that people don't know what they're missing with this scope, and when they get it, I mean, people love it. They
Oh yeah.
absolutely love it, but it's just, it doesn't get the buzz I think that the other scopes do. So, skipping quickly to the end, I want to go to the Pulsar Thermion 2 XG50 3 power, $39.99. Again, right that $4,000 price range. This is a big price drop for Pulsar as well. This is a fantastic scope. We love the Thermions. I just think the fit, the finish is wonderful. They've got more reticle options than any other manufacturer by far. They have more reticle colors. I think that the menu system getting in there, I think, is very intuitive. It's easy to use. It's comfortable. I really, really like the Thermion. We sell a bunch of these to coyote hunters that are looking for a 3 power 30 millimeter tube and really know the quality of that Pulsar brand and want to stick with that or get into that brand. That is a very, very popular scope, especially at this price range. All right, Hans, we've kind
Yeah.
of pushed through here on the end. I know we're running a little bit short on time. Let's go ahead. Do you want to
Yeah, I'm
pick
gonna
our
do my
runners
honor.
up first?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the. I'll pick my honorable mention.
Okay,
And
who's
I
your
know
honorable mention?
Yeah, so my winner for honorable mention of best thermal scope under $4,000 gonna be one you just mentioned is the Infrared Outdoor, the RH50 V2 MK1 for $39.99. That's the 3 to 12 power. It is I guess a kind of not a subcompact, but more of a compact style scope. Really does well on an AR style rifle. But you already mentioned it. This is probably the most underrated scope on this list. It doesn't get a lot of attention because of the bigger brother, the Bolt scope, but it is a fantastic option for somebody out there that is really an AR style shooter that wants something. If you're a coyote hunter or somebody that's typically shooting over 100 yards, it's got that 3 power base, but rechargeable batteries. It is a great scope, great price. My honorable mention this year. And Jason, what are you going to pick?
Okay, I hate to be dramatic, but I've got to give some explanation here. And here's why. I'm going to pick a scope I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. I'm going to pick my top scope in a minute. And it's not the best scope for me, but I think it's the best scope on this list. And I love it. And I have to pick it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick a scope on here that I think is best for me and my style of hunting. Okay. But I'm going to give a couple quick caveats because, this is like picking your favorite child. You shouldn't do that. You're not supposed to do that. Don't do that. I don't like doing that in these lists because I really do like different optics for different things and I see their value. And there's two scopes on here. Well, there's three scopes that I have to say something about real quick. One is the Thermion XG50 and the XP50 as well. I just love the Thermions. I really, really, really do like everything about them. It's tough for me to not pick a Thermion, but I'm not going to. I also totally concur with your pick of the RH50 V2 MK1. Man, that's a great scope. Image quality, it's legit, but I can't choose that. Third option that I really, really want to pick, but I just know that I would take so much flack, and I should pick. This is what I should pick. Is the Clarion 384 from AGM. And the reason I said take flack is people say this stacked list of 640s and you're going to pick a 384. So just to keep the haters at bay, I'm not going to pick it. I love what that scope brings to the market. AGM, if you're listening, Pulsar, Infrared, Rix, all you brands out there, we want more of these dual base mag optics. We want more. I know that there's two or three out there on the market and they don't sell like crazy because they are more expensive. And I get it. There's two lenses in there. It costs more to make this, but please keep making them. To me, being able to have two thermal scopes in one is so valuable, even for myself, because I am likely to be shooting hogs at 20 or 25 yards.
Yeah.
And I could be on a hunt with Hans and we could be calling coyotes and they're hung up at 175 or 200. And now my 2 power that's not the sweet spot. It's
Yeah.
not. Not that I couldn't make the shot. It's not the sweet spot. And I want to have the sweet spot for both. That Clarion does it. So, what am I going to choose? I'm going to choose this scope because it is a 640. It is a 2-power. It's exactly what I need. It's a 30 millimeter tube, which I love. It is a 640. I think I said that. And it's a fantastic price. And that's the AGM Adder TS35 640. I think at $3,200 with a $250 American Defense mount, that makes this a heck of a good deal for a hog hunter like myself.
Yeah.
And so for me, if I had to pick one in here, current models, that scope fits me and what I do the best. And I think it's just a fantastic value. So
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at there. I know
right.
that's a big explanation. I didn't want to give a bunch of participation trophies, but I struggle. Hans is better about just rip the Band-Aid off, pick them. And I'm like, oh, but this and that. I've been thinking about this for 2 days.
Yeah.
So this is tough.
It's tough when you try to figure out what's your favorite scope, because we talked about what's the best, but this is a list of what's our favorite, and that's going to be better for what you're going to do. But the winner of best thermal scope under $4,000.
I'm going to go ahead, Hans, and before I'm going to let you say it, but I'm just going to go ahead and say we both concur on this one. There was no question on this. This is the single trophy winner of this episode.
And one that probably doesn't fit Jason's hunting style, but he had to pick it because of how great this scope is. It is the Infrared Outdoor Bolt TH50C version 2, 3.5 power to 14 power, $39.99. Jason, this you've already talked about it. Very, very popular. One of the most popular scopes in the $5,000 to $6,000 price range last year. Now at $39.99, it is dominating that price bracket as far as, and you say, well, man, that's a high base magnification. Why is it so popular? Well, the majority of the night hunting market is and are predator hunters, and predator hunters typically want a 3 or 3.5 power scope. And that's why, that it was popular then at $54. It's super popular now at $39.99, but great picture image, very big display screen, just a really solid coyote hunting thermal scope. It fits and works with the American Defense Manufacturing Recon mount. So a lot of people buy those together, so they get that great mount and get the great scope. But it would be malpractice not to pick it, right?
It would be. And I want to add one more thing that I really like about this optic. One, it does have the internal battery, which lasts really, really long time. I'd have to look back at my notes, but I think we got like 8 or 9 out, maybe more than that, 9 hours on the runtime. But it comes with two 18500 batteries. These are a generic rechargeable battery that, they're about, I don't know, I'm just trying to show my finger here. They're about 2 inches long, big around as your finger. And it comes with 2 of those. And they're nice. They're removable, rechargeable. But we've got a battery extender that right now is $75. You screw onto the side and it extends that tube. And this is infrared approved. It allows you to use an 18650 battery, which a lot of people already have. It's a very common generic rechargeable battery that lasts even longer than the 18500s on average. And that's a cool thing, that if you are a guy that's out there hunting long hours, cold weather, battery life's the most important thing, and you want the most removable battery life you can, the 18650 is a great option. So I love this scope because you've got very, very long internal battery, and you have multiple options for removable batteries as well. It would be, I would probably have to, turn in my night hunting credentials if I didn't choose this optic. It is it is popular for very, very good reason. It's easy for me to sell, even though it's more magnification than I need on most of my hunts. It's still a great optic. And if I go coyote hunting, I can tell you this: if you lined up all these optics on here right now, and Hans said, "Hey, let's go coyote hunting tonight," I'm going to pick up that optic. It's absolutely great for that.
So I'm going to recap real quick. My honorable mention for best thermal scope under $4,000 was the Infrared Outdoor RH50 V2 MK1. It sounded like Jason picked like 4 or 5,
I
but
did.
but he narrowed it down to the AGM Adder TS35 640, and that's the 2-power base magnification for $31.95. And Jason's our overall pick for best thermal scope, unanimous, maybe more unanimous than any other pick we've made. Definitely so far. It is the Infrared Outdoor Bolt TH50C version 2. Great scope, $39.99. And the good thing, y'all, if you heard this list, all of these optics, and we spent a lot of time talking about them, and you have questions and you're trying to decide, hey, you picked this scope, but is it right for me? All you got to do is pick up the phone, 877-350-1818. You can talk to us. We will walk you through the process and make sure that you are choosing the scope that you can be confident with, that it's going to work. When you get it out of the box, go sight it in, get excited about hunting. You know that this is the best option that you could have had in the budget that you're looking for. So outdoorlegacygear.com, 877-350-1818. Thank you for watching the Late Night Vision Show. This has been the best thermal scope choice, our choices under $4,000. If you want to find any of our past episodes, thelatenightvision.show.com. Obviously, you can find us on all the socials. I know we're pressed for time, Jason. I'll skip through a lot of that, but just go look for us on Instagram and Facebook, and Outdoor Lazy on Facebook, on Instagram. You'll be able to find us there. But all the stuff, all of our content really goes towards the podcast, and that is right here on YouTube or Spotify or wherever else you're listening to this. But we appreciate you listening today.
So, guys, we do have more coming in this series. Hans and I are working through some of the details on the upcoming shows, best under 5,000, best under 6,000, how we're going to do those, whether we combine them, what we're going to do there. But stay tuned. Next week, we intend to come back with another one of these shows as we go on through this entire series. We will also do best handhelds before the year is over as well. We've still got scopes that we are out actively getting footage with, getting ready to review: the Storm S6, the AGM Varmint V2s, lots of stuff still going on. Other new optics, like on this list that we mentioned, the RL42R. It's a busy fall, guys. So stay tuned right here to the Late Night Vision Show. We'll continue to bring you the best in night hunting, thermal and night vision scope reviews, and all the latest in breaking news. Hope to see y'all here again next week. Y'all stay safe.